You're listening to Cornhole Champions. I'm your host, Zachary Oren Smith. I'm sitting here with Amie Rivers and Avery Staker of Iowa Starting Line. After the Scott County attorney stonewalled, we can finally get a look at Iowa Department of Investigation's report on the Davenport building collapse. You'll remember 3 people died. 1 woman had her leg amputated when a 6-story apartment building in Davenport, Iowa, partially collapsed on May 28th, 2023. That's 2 years ago. After the city said it, quote, had no idea who was actually doing the mason work on the dangerous structure. The building's owner, Andrew Wold, was reportedly shopping for steel beams to fix the building when he got a phone call saying, quote, it just went down. In the report, I spent all of the weekend kind of going through this thing. In it, you can read a special agent talking about how Wold ran from investigators who were trying to serve him a warrant for his phone. It's a really like explosive report, kind of detailing what led up to the collapse of the Davenport Hotel, the 6-story building. But also talks about kind of how kind of the players that were involved in what was a regulatory game of tag that never really manifested in a safer environment for its residents. First, I wanted to talk a little bit about why it's a big deal that it's coming out now. Scott County Attorney Kelly Cunningham, a Republican, has already announced that she wasn't going to press charges against Andrew Wold, the building owner, for some sort of criminal negligence in this incident. Her office had conducted their own investigation into the incident. The city had an engineering report on it. And then Kelly Cunningham asked for a second opinion from the Department of Criminal Investigation with the state before she made her decision not to press charges. But when everyone asked, well, it seems like, there's been plenty of evidence that this man wasn't taking care of his building, right? That the city had been trying to get him into compliance that he failed to bring the building into. When people followed up asking kind of what did she base her decision in, right? She said, well, the DCI report didn't have the details the evidence necessary to document that negligence. But when we asked about the report, she fought its release to the public, saying that she was concerned about the people mentioned in it. What we have now is a heavily redacted report, right? I'm not going to kind of claim that we've got all the names, addresses, and dates here, but it's a much clearer picture in terms of the abject negligence in this building over time. The scene that really stuck with me was Andrew Wold shopping for steel beams to support the side of the wall as the building came down, right? Amie, you were there. Tell me what you remember from this.
We knew it from day one. I mean, everybody that descended upon the scene after it collapsed talked to the residents, and all of the residents were saying, yeah, no, it's the building owner. It's Andrew Wold. He has been a slumlord for years, neglecting everything about that building and taking the cheap way out. I mean, you saw the pictures of just like wooden beams holding up that brick structure on the backside. Just ridiculous things like that. And the residents were like, yeah, he doesn't fix things. The building is crumbling. The city's been here multiple times. Like, even the reporter at the Quad City Times who lived there was talking about she had just moved in and immediately was noticing all of these problems. So like from day one, the residents had been saying, oh, it's absolutely him. I think the fact that they said that they were waiting to release the report because they were worried about the safety of Andrew Wold basically tells you everything you need to know about it. Like, I mean, how can you say that you're worried about the safety and then also in the same breath be like, well, we don't know if he's negligent?
I think it's absolutely valid that Andrew Wold was fearing for his life. Because, frankly, I was in those protests, and, the clear mistreatment of his residents that they would talk about in these interviews, the very clear refusal to spend what was a significant amount of money to fix this building. I don't know, right? There were a lot of really angry people across town. According to the police report, investigators had to go as far as Lamar's. He'd went into hiding as far as Lamar's in order to serve him papers, right? Because he just was not around to participate in the investigation.
Hiding in his gated home, making his lawyer get on the intercom. Yeah, we feel so bad for him. Yeah.
After the building, he just neglected, killed people, and permanently disabled one. Like,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't feel sorry for him. Like, I really, and like looking at the article too, like there's just all these like excuses almost. It's
Yep.
just, which is just so frustrating. It's starting from he was shopping for steel beams to fix it when it collapsed. You know, it's just like, were you really? And then the Scott County attorney,
Kelly Cunningham.
yeah. She was like, we're talking about a building built in 1901 in an area where we have flooding nearly every year, like trying to give all these excuses for like why the building collapsed. And it's like, why was the building sold to him and used as housing if we knew it was unstable because it was built in 1901 and it gets flooded every year?
Right.
Like we seem like we're trying to throw up some smoke screens as to why this happened, when at the end of the day, like, it seems like all signs point to negligence.
I
And
think this is
if
the
he
piece,
was
right?
trying to fix it, he should not be shopping for steel beams. He should be hiring a contractor to actually do this work properly. And he was clearly not doing that. He lied to the city. In the report, it says that he was trying to gave them the name of a masonry company, and the city never confirmed that they were there. And then when they talked to the workers that had been doing the masonry work when the building came down, they said they were being paid in cash by him.
Yeah, not by the firm that he claimed workers were employed at.
So I'm not even going to give him that he was trying to fix it in any meaningful way. He was still trying to take the cheap way out.
Yeah, Kelly Cunningham said, quote, and you could actively see through the course of communication in the report that, that Wold was engaged in all the steps that he was taking to address the issue of that wall. And we can see where he's going to businesses and he's acquiring supplies, referencing the steel beams. And he's looking for products to brace the wall. So nothing within the context of this would give rise to the filing of criminal charges, right? What we see in this report is what is an extremely expensive fix being necessary, and Wold continuing to allow people to live in that building. Despite the growing evidence that it was unsafe. Back in just months prior, February of that year, it collapsed in May. Mid-American Energy had told the city, we will not be sending crews to work on power lines near this building because we have determined it's unsafe for our workers to be on the exterior of that building.
And there were people living in that building.
Precisely.
Nice.
We have a full write-up of this that'll come out on iowastartingline.com around the time that this podcast episode airs. If this story is on your mind the way it's been on our minds, I hope you will give it a read. And with that, let's take a break.